Hey everybody, Saturday afternoon, I'm back in the garage again. I thought I'd do sort of an update on my Overland setup. I think the last thing that I posted, my rack was sort of approaching completion, and I hadn't even had my tent yet. So I can talk about both of those and the hoist design that I came up with to get the tent off of the rack. So the tent I'll start with, that's a iKamper SkyCamp. This is I guess you'd call it the 1.0, the first generation. I picked this up used on Facebook. Luckily, it went up for sale. I just caught it by chance, right as I was finishing my rack. And I ran out and grabbed it before anybody else had a chance to. This tent weighs about 160, maybe 165 pounds, so it's pretty hefty. So it's a good thing that I built my rack sturdy enough for. So I'll talk about the rack. I think in the last video, I had the outer bars sort of bent and kind of temporarily positioned. So this is, I believe it was 1/8 inch DOM tubing, steel, obviously. And what I wanted to do with the rack is I wanted it to be quick release, because I do a lot of wheeling. Well, not so much anymore, but I like to be able to do wheeling when I want to and not have to carry all this weight with me. And so I want the Jeep to be as versatile as possible. If I want to go wheeling, 30 minutes tinkering and I'm ready to go wheeling. If I want to go camping, same. So the rack is quick release. I designed it to come down into couplers. So if I want to take the rack off, what I need to do is, there are 2 bolts here, 2 screws here, 2 screws on the other side, 2 screws in the front over here, and 2 screws on the other side. And that'll take off this whole outer bar. And on the crossbars, I have couplers. These were custom CNC'd. And so there are 2 screws in the crossbars on either end. And so if I pull these 2 screws out, I can detach the crossbar from the main sidebars. And so when it's all apart, I can literally just tuck it in the corner behind my workbench. The rack itself, when I finished it, I don't remember how much exactly it was, but I weighed it, and it came in about 5 or 10 pounds lighter than the next, the next best thing on the internet. I think it was the Gobi rack. I think it was about 5 or 10 pounds lighter than the Gobi rack. In the front, I have the same couplers. These, I think it was TMR that I got these from. And they come down into these brackets. I designed these brackets in CAD and had them machined also in the same shop. They made a logo. They did my logo for me. And so these bolt in 3 spots. These are the same cap screws that hold the corner armor on, 5/16 cap screws with nylock bolts inside. And isn't it great when forklifts drive down your alleyway when you're in the middle of filming? Anyway, so the front brackets connect with the couplers. Then I got 3 bolts here. That ties them into my light bar brackets. These brackets were made by a company called HMF. These are super heavy duty. They're about 1/8 inch steel plate, and they tie into the base of the windshield where the strength is. So I got plenty of strength in the front, plenty of strength in the back. I'm about 6'3", brushing with 200 pounds, and I've been up in this tent with my wife. She's fairly small, but my wife and my daughter. So that's, more than enough weight to stress a rack, and it's been holding up fine. I think I got about half a dozen camping trips in this tent with on the rack with this setup, and no issues at all. So I'm pretty happy about that. But so when I got the tent home, I was really excited. But I got it home, and I had no way of getting it off by myself. When I bought it, the guy that I got it from and another friend of mine helped me load it onto the rack. But when I got it home, no idea how I was going to get it off. So I had to come up with something. I didn't want to buy a hoist system. All the hoist systems I saw were, $300-400, and they're fancy, Bluetooth, connect to your phone and all kinds of stuff. There are some cheaper ones too, but I mean, there's no fun in buying stuff when you can make it yourself. So I came up with this. I went to the machine district, and I got some square tubing. This is 40 mil by 40 mil square tubing. I got 2 sections of that, and I got some steel plate that I made brackets out of. I welded the tubing into the plate, and then bolted the plate into the wall and into the beam. So I got 2 of those. Those, I believe, let me see it. I wrote it down here. Yeah, the tubing cost me about, if you want to translate it to US dollars, they were about $28. And then I got the rope here. Picked that up at the local hardware store. That cost me $11. That's came on a big spool of rope. Not sure how long that is actually, but it's more than enough. Then I got these pulleys that I have. I can talk about how the pulleys work, but I got a handful of pulleys there up on the bars down there. I got those pulleys at all 4 corners. And the pulleys all together cost me about $45. And then I had the concrete anchors, which were, a handful, maybe $5 US. So the way this works is, if I pull in its current stage, I should say, because I want to redo this and sort of break it up, because it's, when I lower the tent, as you saw from the video at the beginning of this, from the video at the beginning of this video, when I lower the tent, it doesn't lower evenly. The back usually drops down first, because I guess the back is a little bit heavier. I don't know exactly why it's heavier, maybe, whatever. But the back always drops down first. And so I want to break up the system so I have 2 separate ropes. I have one pulley rope here and 1 pulley rope for the front. But as it stands, I pull this rope, and it comes up over this pulley here, then down into this pulley, then up into another pulley, which takes it across the bar into that pulley. Then it comes down into this pulley, then goes up into that pulley, and then across into that pulley, and then up to the front into that pulley, then over to that pulley, and then down into this pulley, and back up into that pulley, and over into this pulley, and then down into this pulley, and then finally it goes up and ties off. And so what that does is enables me to pull 1 rope, and when there's weight on the ropes, all 4 of the pulleys will pull the tent up off of the rack. And so what I do is I'll pull the rope, get the tent all the way tucked up to the ceiling. It's basically almost touching the bars. And once I get it pulled all the way up, I'll tie the rope off on the leg of my bench. And then I'll grab that yellow come-along strap and I'll throw that up through the hooks and underneath the tent, and I'll ratchet strap the tent up to the bars. And so when it's in its final position, it's got 2 ratchet straps around it. One that attaches to the blue ratchet strap, or the blue ratchet strap there, attaches to the pulleys in these 4 corners here, there, and there. And that's the one that I use to actually lift the tent, and then the yellow one holds it in place. So since I installed this, we've had several earthquakes. Here in Taiwan, we're in the Ring of Fire, so we get an earthquake, like maybe, a tremor once a month, once every 2 months. And we've had a few bigger earthquakes, and this hasn't gone anywhere. This is strong as an ox. Oh my God. I do also want to add a winch to it, because this kind of, right now I have the rope coming down into, I have another pulley here and then a pulley on here, and then I pull from that, I actually pull from that pulley. So that's the bunch of rope down there. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get a winch, like a little mini winch, and mount it on the back of the bench, maybe back in the corner over there. So, and equalize the rope, so when the winch is all the way winched in, the tent is all the way up against the ceiling. I gotta figure that out still, but I'll probably hit up Amazon for a cheap winch, maybe a 200-pound, 300-pound winch. That should cover it. But yeah, that's about it. The roof rack project is done. Do one last walk around. That's it for this Saturday's installment of Killing Time in the Garage. See you later.